One day you will wake up for the last time. You won't know it's your last morning. You won't know it's your final sunset. You won't know that the moments you keep postponing will never come again. And in that moment, nothing will matter except one question. Did I spend my life on what truly mattered? Most people never ask this question until it's too late. But Buddhism teaches us that awareness begins now, not at the end. If you don't want to die realizing you wasted your life, then listen carefully. These Buddhist lessons could completely change the way you see your time on earth. 1. Stop living for other people's approval. Many people waste their whole life trying to be accepted by others. They are always worried about how they look, how they speak, what others think, and whether people will like them or not. Slowly, they stop living from their own heart and start living according to the expectations of the world. They change their words because they are afraid someone will judge them. They hide their truth because they do not want to be rejected. They bury their dreams because someone laughed at them. They silence their heart because they want to fit in. But the more they try to please everyone, the more they lose themselves. Buddhism teaches that attachment to praise creates suffering. When you need people to clap for you, approve of you, and understand you before you can feel peaceful, your happiness is no longer in your own hands. It becomes controlled by other people's opinions. And the truth is, you can never satisfy everyone. No matter how kind you are, someone will still misunderstand you. No matter how good your intentions are, someone may still judge you. No matter how carefully you live, someone will still have something to say. 2. Don't waste your days chasing empty desires. Desire is endless. The moment you get one thing, your mind immediately starts wanting something else. You buy something new, achieve a goal, earn more money, or reach a higher position, but the satisfaction does not last for long. Soon a new desire appears, and the cycle begins again. Buddhism teaches that uncontrolled craving keeps the mind restless. It convinces you that happiness is always somewhere in the future. It tells you that you will finally feel complete when you get one more thing, achieve one more goal, or reach one more level of success. There is nothing wrong with having dreams, goals, or ambitions. The problem begins when chasing becomes your entire life. Many people become so focused on getting more that they forget to enjoy what they already have. They spend years running toward happiness without realizing they are running past it every day. The danger of endless desire is that it steals your ability to appreciate the present moment. Instead of feeling grateful for what is already in your life, your mind becomes obsessed with what is missing. And when gratitude disappears, peace disappears with it. 3. Let go of anger before it steals your life. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but it quietly destroys the person carrying it. When you keep anger inside your heart, you may think you are punishing someone else, but in reality, you are hurting your own peace every single day. Many people waste years replaying old conversations, old betrayals, old insults, and old disappointments. They remember what someone said, how someone treated them, and how unfair life felt. But the more they repeat the pain in their mind, the more they keep the wound alive. Buddhism teaches that holding anger is like holding fire in your own hands. You may want to burn someone else, but first you burn yourself. Anger takes your sleep, your focus, your joy, and your ability to live in the present moment. Letting go does not mean what happened was right. It does not mean you must forget everything or allow someone to hurt you again. Letting go means you stop giving the past permission to control your heart today. 4. Stop waiting for the perfect time to live. Many people spend their whole life waiting for the perfect time to finally live. They keep telling themselves, I will be happy when everything becomes better. I will enjoy life when I have more money. I will feel peaceful when my problems disappear. I will start living when I reach the right place, meet the right person, or become the right version of myself. But the truth is, life does not wait for perfect conditions. Life is happening right now, even while things are incomplete. Your days are passing right now, even while you are still worried. Your youth, your energy, your opportunities, And your beautiful moments are quietly moving forward, whether you notice them or not. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only place where life truly exists. The past is already gone, and the future has not arrived yet. But many people are never fully present. Their body is here, but their mind is always somewhere else. They are either regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. Because of this, they miss the only moment they actually have. Waiting for the perfect time is dangerous, because perfection may never come. There will always be another problem to solve, another responsibility to handle, another fear to face, and another reason to delay your happiness. If you keep waiting until life becomes completely easy, you may reach old age and realize that you spent your best years waiting instead of living. This does not mean you ignore your goals or stop improving your life. It means you stop postponing your peace until everything becomes perfect. You can work hard and still enjoy today. You can have dreams and still be grateful for what you already have. You can be healing and still allow yourself to smile. You can be struggling and still notice the beauty around you. Sometimes the simple moments are the moments you will miss the most later. A quiet morning, a warm cup of tea, a peaceful walk, a conversation with someone you love, the sound of rain, the feeling of breathing after a difficult day. These things may look small, but they are life. Do not ignore them while chasing something far away. Many people think life will begin after success, after money, after marriage, after healing, after everything becomes clear. But Buddhism reminds us that life is not waiting at the end of the road. Life is the road itself. Every step matters, every breath matters, every ordinary day carries something sacred if you are awake enough to see it. Stop saying, "One day I will live." Live now, not perfectly, not fearlessly, not with everything figured out, but with awareness. Be present with what is in front of you. Appreciate what is still good. Do what you can with the time you have. Because one day, you may look back and realize the perfect time never came, but life was offering you small pieces of happiness every single day. Do not die realizing you were waiting for a perfect life while the real life was passing quietly in front of you. 5. Choose peace over being right. One of the biggest ways people waste their life is by fighting battles that do not bring them peace. They spend their energy proving their point, defending their ego, correcting every misunderstanding, and trying to make everyone see things their way. But at the end of many arguments, nothing truly changes. The heart becomes heavier, the mind becomes restless, and the relationship becomes more painful. Many people believe that being right will make them feel peaceful. They think, if I can just explain myself perfectly, then they will understand me. If I can just win this argument, then I will feel satisfied. If I can just prove that I was not wrong, then my heart will finally rest. But often the opposite happens. The more you argue, the more your mind burns. The more you defend yourself, the more trapped you become in the conflict. Buddhism teaches that peace is more valuable than victory. Winning an argument may satisfy your ego for a moment, but protecting your peace can save your life from years of unnecessary suffering. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every opinion deserves your explanation. Not every misunderstanding deserves your energy. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is wisdom. This does not mean you should allow disrespect, injustice, or abuse. It does not mean you should never speak the truth. Buddhism does not teach you to become passive or afraid. It teaches you to become mindful. Before you speak, ask yourself, will these words create understanding, or will they create more fire? Am I speaking from wisdom, or am I speaking from anger? Am I trying to solve the problem, or am I only trying to feed my ego? There is a big difference between speaking with clarity and speaking with ego. When you speak with clarity, your words are calm, honest, and necessary. But when you speak with ego, your words are sharp, defensive, and full of heat. You may say the truth, but the way you say it can still create suffering. This is why Buddhism teaches mindful speech. Speak only when your words are useful, truthful, and kind enough to reduce suffering. Many arguments are not really about truth. They are about pride. One person wants to feel superior, another person wants to feel heard, one person wants control, another person wants validation. And slowly, both people forget the real problem. They are no longer trying to understand each other. They are only trying to win. But ask yourself honestly, how many times did winning an argument truly improve your life? How many times did proving someone wrong actually make your heart peaceful? How many times did a small disagreement steal your whole day, disturb your sleep, and fill your mind with thoughts that did not matter? Life is too short to give your peace to every conflict. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not need to answer every harsh word. You do not need to explain your soul to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is breathe, step back, and refuse to turn a small fire into a forest. Choosing peace over being right means you understand the value of your life. It means you know your time is sacred. It means you are no longer willing to waste your precious days fighting over things that will not matter in the end. At the end of life, you will not remember every argument you won, but you may regret the peace you lost, the moments you wasted, and the love you damaged because your ego wanted the final word. So before you react to pause, before you argue, breathe. Before you try to prove yourself, ask whether this battle is worth the cost of your peace. Some things can be explained calmly. Some things can be forgiven quietly. Some things can be left without an answer. And some people must be allowed to think whatever they want, while you continue walking your path with a calm heart. Choose peace, not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Choose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because your soul is no longer hungry for useless battles. Choose calmness, not because you have lost, but because you have finally understood that your life is too precious to waste on proving yourself to everyone. 6. Remember that death makes life clear. Death is not a comfortable subject, but it is one of the greatest teachers in Buddhism. Many people avoid thinking about death because it feels frightening, sad, or negative. They believe that if they ignore it, life will feel easier. But Buddhism teaches the opposite. When you remember death with wisdom, you do not become depressed. You become awake. Death reminds you that life is not endless. It reminds you that your time here is limited, your body is temporary, and every day you are given is precious. This is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create clarity. Because when you truly understand that life will not last forever, many things that once controlled you begin to lose their power. The small arguments become smaller. The opinions of others become lighter. The pressure to impress people becomes weaker. The desire to prove yourself to everyone begins to fade. You start to see that so many things you worried about were not worth your peace. So many things you chased were not worth your soul. So many things you feared were not worth wasting your life over. Many people live as if they have unlimited time. They postpone love. They postpone forgiveness. They postpone peace. They postpone their dreams. They say, "One day I will change. One day I will live differently. One day I will spend more time with my family. One day I will take care of my mind. One day I will stop worrying so much." But one day is not promised to anyone. Buddhism teaches us to look deeply at impermanence. Everything that is born will change. Everything that comes together will separate. Every moment appears and disappears. Your childhood disappeared. Your past disappeared. Many faces you once saw every day are no longer part of your life. Many moments you thought would last forever are now only memories. This is not a reason to suffer. This is a reason to wake up. When you understand impermanence, you stop holding life so tightly. You stop wasting time on meaningless anger. You stop treating temporary problems like permanent prisons. You stop believing that every painful feeling will last forever. You begin to understand that everything is passing, including the pain, the fear, the confusion, and the difficult season you are facing right now. Death makes life clear because it shows you what truly matters. At the end of life, you will not care about every small mistake someone made. You will not care about every argument you won. You will not care about every person who judged you. You will not care about the unnecessary stress that filled your mind for years. You will care about whether you loved well, lived honestly, forgave enough, and became peaceful inside. Imagine yourself many years from now, looking back at this exact season of your life. What would you wish you had stopped worrying about? What would you wish you had appreciated more? What would you wish you had the courage to begin? What would you wish you had the strength to let go of? These questions are powerful because they bring your mind back to what matters. They help you see that life is too short to live trapped in ego, jealousy, fear, and regret. They remind you that you do not have time to waste your heart on things that will mean nothing in the end. Many people spend their life collecting things, but never collecting peace. They fill their homes, but leave their hearts empty. They chase success, but forget stillness. They build a name, but lose their true self. They look busy, but inside they feel lost. And sometimes, only near the end of life do they realize that they were rich in possessions but poor in presence. Buddhism does not say you should reject the world completely. It teaches you to live in the world without becoming a slave to it. You can work, earn, build, love, create, and dream, but you must remember that none of these things are permanent. When you remember this, you stop clinging. You stop making temporary things the foundation of your whole identity. Your body will change, your face will change, your strength will change, your relationships will change, your circumstances will change. This is the nature of life. But awareness gives you freedom. When you know everything is changing, you stop demanding that life stay exactly the way you want. You learn to appreciate without clinging. You learn to love without controlling. You learn to live without forgetting that every moment is a gift. Death also teaches you to forgive faster. How many years do people waste holding anger inside their chest? How many nights do they lose thinking about someone who hurt them? How much peace do they sacrifice because they cannot release one painful memory? But when you remember that life is short, forgiveness becomes easier. Not because the pain was small, but because your life is too valuable to spend carrying poison. You do not forgive to free the other person. You forgive to free your own heart. You forgive because you are tired of letting the past live inside you. You forgive because you do not want to die with bitterness still controlling your mind. You forgive because peace is more important than revenge. Death also teaches you to love more honestly. Many people wait too long to express love. They think there will always be more time. They think they can call later, apologize later, appreciate later, sit together later, speak kindly later. But life can change in one moment. A person who is here today may not be here tomorrow. A moment you ignore today may become a memory you miss forever. So say the kind words while you can. Be present with the people who matter. Listen deeply when someone speaks to you. Do not let your phone, your stress, your ego, or your busyness steal the precious moments that life is giving you right now. One day, ordinary moments may become the most sacred memories of your life. Death makes life clear because it removes the illusion that everything can wait. It teaches you that now is not just another moment. Now is life. This breath is life. This chance is life. If you keep waiting for a perfect future, you may miss the imperfect but beautiful present that is already here. Many people fear death, but what they should fear more is never truly living. They should fear reaching the end and realizing they were always distracted, always worried, always angry, always chasing, always waiting, always trying to become enough in the eyes of others. And while they were busy with all these things, life quietly passed. To remember death is to remember your priorities. It is to ask yourself, what am I doing with my limited time? Am I using my energy on what truly matters? Am I becoming kinder, calmer, and wiser? Am I living in a way that my future self will thank me for? These questions are not meant to make you feel guilty. They are meant to guide you back to yourself. Every day is a chance to return. Every morning is a chance to begin again. Every breath is a reminder that you are still here, and because you are still here, you can still change. You can still stop wasting your life on meaningless comparison. You can still stop trying to impress people who do not know your heart. You can still stop carrying anger that only makes you suffer. You can still stop delaying peace until everything is perfect. You can still choose a simpler, deeper, more meaningful way to live. Buddhism teaches that awareness of death brings urgency, but not panic. It brings seriousness, but not sadness. It brings gratitude because you begin to understand how rare and precious this human life truly is. You are alive right now. You can breathe, you can learn, you can let go, you can love, you can become more awake than you were yesterday. So do not treat your life like something ordinary. Do not treat today like it has no value. Do not waste your limited breath on endless worry, useless anger, empty desire, or the need to be approved by everyone. These things may feel important in the moment, but when seen through the eyes of death, they become very small. What remains important is simple. Did you live with awareness? Did you love with sincerity? Did you speak with kindness? Did you protect your peace? Did you become free from the things that were silently destroying you? Did you use your life to become more awake? Death is not here to scare you. Death is here to remind you. It reminds you that your time is sacred. It reminds you that your heart deserves peace. It reminds you that every person you love is temporary. It reminds you that every moment is passing. It reminds you not to sleepwalk through your own life. So live in such a way that when the end comes, your heart is not full of regret. Live in such a way that you can say, I did not waste my life on things that did not matter. I learned to let go. I learned to love. I learned to forgive. I learned to be present. I learned to choose peace, because death makes life clear. And when life becomes clear, you finally understand what is worth holding, what is worth releasing, and what is worth giving your precious time to. 7. Live so your heart has no regret. At the end of life, the heart does not ask how much you owned. It does not ask how many people praised you, how many arguments you won, how many expensive things you collected, or how perfectly the world saw you. At the end of life, the heart asks something much deeper. It asks, did I truly live? Did I love with sincerity? Did I spend my time on what mattered? Did I become peaceful inside? Or did I waste my life chasing things that were never worth my soul? This is why Buddhism teaches us to live with awareness. A meaningful life is not created by accident. It is created by the way you spend your attention, your energy, your words, your thoughts, and your days. Every day, you are giving your life to something. You are giving it to peace or stress. You are giving it to love or anger. You are giving it to wisdom or ego. You are giving it to purpose or distraction. Many people do not realize they are wasting their life because wasting life does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks normal. It looks like waking up every day with no awareness. It looks like checking the phone before checking the heart. It looks like worrying about things that do not matter. It looks like arguing over small things. It looks like living for approval. It looks like being busy all the time but never feeling truly alive. Regret often comes quietly. It does not always arrive in one big moment. It builds slowly through ignored dreams, unspoken love, repeated anger, unnecessary fear, and years spent trying to become someone the world will accept. Then one day a person looks back and realizes they were alive, but they were not awake. They had time, but they did not use it wisely. They had love, but they did not express it. They had chances, but they kept waiting. Buddhism reminds us that awareness is the medicine for regret. When you are aware, you begin to notice where your life is going. You begin to ask yourself, is this path bringing me peace? Is this desire making me free or more restless? Is this anger worth carrying? Is this relationship helping me grow or destroying my mind? Is this worry useful, or is it only stealing my present moment? These questions can change your life because they bring you back to truth. They stop you from living on autopilot. They remind you that you are not here forever. They remind you that your time is not something to throw away. Every breath is part of your life. Every morning is part of your life. Every ordinary day is part of your life. If you keep waiting for life to become special, you may miss the sacredness of what is already here. To live without regret, You must learn to choose what matters before life forces you to see it. You must stop giving your best energy to things that leave your soul empty. You must stop treating every small problem like it deserves your whole mind. You must stop allowing other people's opinions to become the ruler of your heart. You must stop delaying your peace until everything is perfect. The truth is, life will never be completely perfect. There will always be some uncertainty. There will always be something unfinished. There will always be a problem to solve, a fear to face, a responsibility to handle, or a person who does not understand you. If you wait for a perfect life before you allow yourself to feel peaceful, you may never feel peace at all. Buddhism does not teach that life becomes meaningful only when all suffering disappears. It teaches that meaning is found when you become awake inside the suffering. It teaches that peace is possible even in an imperfect life. It teaches that you can breathe with awareness, walk with awareness, speak with awareness, work with awareness, and love with awareness. When awareness enters your life, even simple moments become deep. Living without regret does not mean living without mistakes. You will make mistakes. You will choose wrong sometimes. You will trust the wrong person sometimes. You will say things you wish you had not said. You will waste time before you learn the value of time. You will carry things longer than you should. This is part of being human. But regret becomes lighter when you learn from your mistakes instead of sleeping inside them. Do not punish yourself forever for what you did not understand before. The purpose of awareness is not to make you hate your past. The purpose of awareness is to help you live differently from this moment forward. If yesterday was unconscious, let today become awake. If yesterday was full of anger, let today begin with peace. If yesterday was wasted, let today be used with wisdom. A person who lives without regret is not a perfect person. It is a person who returns again and again to what matters. When they fall into anger, they return to patience. When they fall into worry, they return to the breath. When they fall into desire, they return to gratitude. When they fall into ego, they return to humility. When they fall into distraction, they return to presence. This returning is the path. You do not become peaceful one time and remain peaceful forever. You practice peace. You practice letting go. You practice kindness. You practice awareness. You practice choosing your soul over your ego. And slowly your life becomes different, not because the world becomes perfect, but because your relationship with life becomes wiser. Many people think a regret-free life means doing big things, becoming famous, achieving huge success, or leaving a name behind. But Buddhism teaches that a meaningful life can be simple. You can live a beautiful life without the whole world knowing your name. You can live with dignity, kindness, honesty, and presence. You can touch the lives of a few people deeply. You can become calm inside. You can die with a peaceful heart, and that is not small. That is everything. At the end of life, small acts of love may matter more than big achievements. The time you listened to someone, the forgiveness you offered when your ego wanted revenge, the patience you showed when anger was easy, the kindness you gave without expecting anything back, the moments you were fully present with someone you loved. These things may not look impressive to the world, but they are treasures of the heart. Do not underestimate the power of a peaceful life. In a world full of noise, peace is a great achievement. In a world full of anger, kindness is strength. In a world full of comparison, contentment is freedom. In a world full of distraction, presence is wisdom. In a world full of endless craving, gratitude is wealth. If you want to live so your heart has no regret, begin by simplifying your life inside. Ask yourself what is truly worth your energy. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every thought deserves belief. Not every desire deserves pursuit. Not every argument deserves your voice. Not every person deserves access to your peace. The more clearly you see this, the more wisely you live. Protect your time, because your time is your life. When you waste time, you are not only wasting minutes, you are spending pieces of your existence. Every hour given to unnecessary anger is an hour you could have given to healing. Every day given to fear is a day you could have given to growth. Every year given to approval is a year you could have given to truth. This does not mean you must become serious all the time. It means you must become awake. Laugh deeply, love honestly. Rest when you need to rest. Work when it is time to work. Enjoy simple things. Sit quietly. Watch the sky. Drink tea slowly. Walk without rushing. Listen to your own heart. These are not small things. These are the moments that make life feel alive. Many people think they need more in order to be happy. More money, more success, more attention, more recognition, more control. But sometimes the heart does not need more. It needs less. Less noise, less fear, less comparison, less anger, less pretending, less chasing, less attachment to things that disturb the mind. When you remove what is unnecessary, you begin to feel what is real. You feel the breath. You feel gratitude. You feel the beauty of being alive. You feel the quiet strength inside you. You begin to understand that peace was not always far away. Sometimes peace was hidden behind the things you refused to release. Regret often comes from holding the wrong things too tightly, holding old anger, holding past mistakes, holding people who are no longer good for your soul, holding desires that never satisfy you, holding an image of yourself that is built only to impress others, holding fear so tightly that you never step into your own life. Let go before life forces you to let go. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Let go of the need to win every argument. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Let go of the belief that you must be perfect before you are worthy of peace. Let go of the life you perform for others and return to the life that feels true in your heart. Buddhism teaches that clinging creates suffering. When you cling to praise, you fear criticism. When you cling to pleasure, you fear discomfort. When you cling to people, you fear separation. When you cling to control, you fear uncertainty. But when you practice letting go, you do not stop caring. You simply stop making your peace dependent on things that are always changing. This is how you become free, not by owning everything, not by controlling everyone, not by being admired by the world. You become free by understanding what cannot be held forever and learning to love it without becoming a prisoner to it. Live so your heart has no regret by loving while love is still possible. Do not wait until someone is gone to appreciate them. Do not wait until a relationship is broken to speak with kindness. Do not wait until your parents are old, your friends are distant, or your children have grown before you realize that time with loved ones is sacred. Be present now. Put the phone down sometimes. Look into someone's eyes when they speak. Listen without preparing your reply. Say thank you. Say I am sorry. Say I appreciate you. Say I love you when it is true. These words may seem simple, but one day they may become the words you are grateful you said, or the words you wish you had said sooner. Live so your heart has no regret by taking care of your mind. Your mind is the place where your life is experienced. If your mind is full of hatred, even a beautiful life will feel heavy. If your mind is full of comparison, even blessings will feel full. If your mind is full of fear, even open doors will look dangerous. If your mind is full of awareness, even simple days can feel meaningful. So do not feed your mind poison every day and expect peace to grow there. Be careful what you watch, what you listen to, what you repeat, what you believe, and what you allow to live inside your thoughts. A peaceful life begins with a peaceful mind, and a peaceful mind is trained through awareness. When painful thoughts arise, do not immediately become them. Observe them. Breathe. Notice them as passing clouds. Buddhism teaches that you are not every thought that appears in your mind. A thought can come and go. A feeling can rise and fall. You do not have to obey every emotion. You do not have to follow every fear. You can watch the mind without being controlled by it. This simple practice can save you from regret, because many regrets are born from moments when emotion controlled action, words spoken in anger, choices made from fear, relationships damaged by pride, opportunities missed because of doubt. If you can pause before reacting, you create space for wisdom, and in that space a different life becomes possible. Live so your heart has no regret by choosing truth over performance. Do not spend your whole life pretending to be okay when your soul is tired. Do not build an image that looks strong while your heart is breaking inside. Do not say yes to everything while your inner peace is disappearing. Do not keep living a life that looks good outside but feels empty within. Be honest with yourself. What is hurting you? What is draining you? What are you avoiding? What are you pretending not to know? Sometimes the beginning of a regret-free life is one honest conversation with yourself. The moment you stop lying to your own heart, healing begins. You may not be able to change everything at once, but you can begin. You can begin by making one peaceful choice. One honest choice, one kind choice, one brave choice, one moment of awareness. Do not underestimate small beginnings. A life of regret is created by repeated unconscious choices, and a life of peace is created by repeated conscious choices. Every day ask yourself, what can I do today that my future self will be grateful for? Maybe your future self will thank you for resting instead of burning out. Maybe your future self will thank you for walking away from a useless argument. Maybe your future self will thank you for forgiving someone. Maybe your future self will thank you for starting the work, making the call, saying the truth, or choosing peace. This question makes your life sacred because it reminds you that today is not meaningless. Today is building something. Today is shaping the person you are becoming. Today is becoming tomorrow's memory. So live today in a way that does not become tomorrow's regret. Buddhism teaches that every moment is a chance to awaken. You do not need to wait for a temple, a mountain, a perfect teacher, or a perfect season. Your ordinary life is the practice. The difficult person is the practice. The stressful moment is the practice. The disappointment is the practice. The fear is the practice. The breath you are taking right now is the practice. When you live this way, nothing is wasted. Even pain becomes a teacher. Even mistakes become lessons. Even endings become openings. Even silence becomes wisdom. You begin to see life differently. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what can this teach me? How can this make me more awake? How can I respond with wisdom instead of suffering? This is how regret transforms into wisdom. You stop living as a victim of your past and begin living as a student of your life. You do not deny what hurt you, but you do not let it define your whole existence. You do not pretend everything was easy, but you choose to grow from what was difficult. There will come a day when your life slows down. The noise of the world will not matter as much. The approval of others will feel less important. The things you chased may sit quietly around you, unable to give you the peace you were really searching for. In that moment, may your heart feel light. May you be able to say, I did my best to live with awareness. I made mistakes, but I learned. I suffered, but I awakened. I loved, I forgave, I let go. That is a beautiful life. Not a perfect life, not a life without pain, but a life lived with open eyes. So do not wait until the end to understand the value of your life. Understand it now. Do not wait until death is near to become kind. Become kind now. Do not wait until time is almost gone to forgive. Forgive when your heart is ready. Do not wait until your body is tired to appreciate breath, movement, and health. Appreciate them today. Do not wait until someone leaves to realize they mattered. Be present with them now. Your life is not happening later. It is happening in this moment. This moment may not look extraordinary, but it is still part of your limited time on earth. Treat it with respect. Treat it with gratitude. Treat it like something you cannot get back, because you cannot. The way to live without regret is not complicated, but it requires courage. Love more sincerely. Let go more quickly. Forgive more wisely. Speak more kindly. Listen more deeply. Protect your peace more carefully. Stop chasing what empties you. Stop ignoring what heals you. Stop waiting for life to begin while life is already passing. One day, your final moment will come. No one knows when. No one knows how. But when it comes, may your heart not be filled with the pain of a wasted life. May your heart be filled with peace, because you finally understood what mattered while you still had time. May you know that you did not give your whole life to fear. You did not give your whole life to anger. You did not give your whole life to approval. You did not give your whole life to empty desires. You learned to wake up. You learn to return to the present. You learn to live with awareness. And if you are still breathing right now, then it is not too late. No matter how much time you have wasted, this moment is still open. No matter how many years you lived unconsciously, today can become the beginning of a different life. You can start with one breath, one decision, one act of kindness, one release, one moment of truth. Do not die realizing you wasted your life. Wake up now, live now, love now, let go now. Choose peace now. Choose awareness now. Choose what truly matters now. Because when everything else fades, only the life you lived with truth, love, and awareness will remain in your heart. 8. Stop being distracted from the life in front of you. Many people do not waste their life because they are doing something evil. They waste their life because they are never fully present for the life they already have. Their body is in one place, but their mind is somewhere else. They are eating, but not tasting. They are walking, but not noticing. They are speaking, but not listening. They are alive, but not truly awake. This is one of the quietest ways a human being loses life. Not through one big mistake, but through thousands of distracted moments. A morning passes while the mind is worried about the future. A conversation passes while the attention is on the phone. A beautiful day passes while the heart is busy replaying old pain. A loved one sits nearby, but the mind is somewhere far away, chasing problems that may never happen. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only place where life can be touched. You cannot breathe yesterday. You cannot hold tomorrow. You cannot live inside a memory or a prediction. You can only live here, in this breath, in this moment, in this simple piece of life that is happening right now. But the mind does not like to stay here. The mind runs. It runs to the past and brings back regret. It runs to the future and brings back fear. It runs to comparison and brings back insecurity. It runs to desire and brings back restlessness. And if you never train the mind, it will keep pulling you away from the only moment that is real. This is why so many people feel tired even when nothing big has happened. Their body is sitting still, but their mind has traveled through 1,000 worries. Their body is safe, but their thoughts have created danger. Their body is alive today, but their mind is already suffering over tomorrow. This kind of living makes the soul exhausted. A distracted life feels normal because everyone around you is distracted too. People wake up and immediately reach for noise. They fill silence with screens. They fill loneliness with scrolling. They fill pain with entertainment. They fill every quiet moment with something because they are afraid to sit with themselves. But Buddhism teaches that silence is not empty. Silence is where you meet yourself. Stillness is where you hear the truth. When you stop running, you begin to see what your life has become. You begin to notice what is hurting you, what is healing you, what is draining you, and what is calling you back to peace. Many people are afraid of the present moment because the present moment reveals what they have been avoiding. It shows them the stress they have ignored, the sadness they have buried, the dreams they have delayed, and the relationships they have neglected. So they distract themselves again. They run back into busyness, noise, entertainment, and endless thinking. But distraction does not heal pain. It only hides it for a while. And whatever you keep hiding will keep waiting for you. The mind can only become peaceful when it is finally seen with awareness. The heart can only become light when you stop running from what it is carrying. To live with awareness, you do not need to disappear from the world. You do not need to become perfect. You do not need to sit in silence all day. You simply need to return to your life with more attention. When you drink water, know that you are drinking water. When you walk, know that you are walking. When someone speaks, truly listen. When you breathe, feel the breath entering and leaving your body. This may sound simple, but it is powerful. Because the mind that can return to the present moment becomes harder to control by fear. It becomes harder to trap in regret. It becomes harder to poison with comparison. The more present you become, the more you realize that many of your sufferings were created by thoughts, not by the actual moment in front of you. Right now, this moment may be simpler than your mind says it is. Maybe your mind is telling you that your whole life is a problem. But in this moment, perhaps you are simply breathing. Perhaps you are simply sitting. Perhaps you are simply listening. Perhaps life is not asking you to solve everything right now. Perhaps life is only asking you to be here. This is where peace begins. Not when every problem disappears, but when you stop allowing every problem to steal your entire mind. You can have difficulties and still be present. You can have responsibilities and still breathe calmly. You can have dreams and still appreciate today. You can be healing and still notice beauty. Do not wait until life becomes perfect before you pay attention to it. Pay attention now. Your life is not only the big events. It is not only the achievements, the milestones, the money, the success, or the applause. Your life is also the ordinary moments you keep ignoring. The quiet morning, the warm food, the simple breath, the peaceful sky, the person who asks how you are, the small chance to begin again. One day, these ordinary moments may become the memories you miss the most. You may not miss the stress. You may not miss the arguments. You may not miss the things you were chasing so desperately. You may miss the simple days you did not fully notice while they were happening. So be careful. Do not let distraction steal the sacredness of your life. Do not let your phone take your attention from the people sitting beside you. Do not let worry take your attention from the beauty still around you. Do not let the future take your attention from the gift of today. Do not let your mind turn your whole life into a place you are never actually present. Buddhism teaches mindfulness because mindfulness brings you back home. Not to a building, not to a country, not to a person. It brings you back home to yourself. It brings you back to your breath, your body, your heart, and the truth of this moment. When you are mindful, you begin to see clearly. You see that anger rises and passes. You see that sadness rises and passes. You see that desire rises and passes. You see that fear rises and passes. You stop believing that every feeling is permanent. You stop obeying every thought as if it is a command. You become the watcher, not the prisoner. This is freedom. Freedom is not only doing whatever you want. Real freedom is not being dragged by every thought, every emotion, every craving, and every fear. Real freedom is being able to pause, to breathe, to observe, to choose your response instead of being controlled by reaction. Many regrets are born from a lack of presence. You react too quickly because you are not aware. You say painful words because you are not present with your anger. You waste years chasing approval because you are not present with your own worth. You ignore your loved ones because you are not present with the truth that time is limited. You keep postponing your peace because you are not present with the life that is already here. Presence saves you from regret because it wakes you up before life passes. It helps you notice the person in front of you before they become a memory. It helps you appreciate your health before it changes. It helps you value your time before it disappears. It helps you choose peace before anger becomes a habit. It helps you choose truth before pretending becomes your whole life. The distracted mind says, later. Awareness says, now. The distracted mind says, I will live when everything is perfect. Awareness says, this imperfect moment is still life. The distracted mind says, I need more to be happy. Awareness says, look carefully. Something beautiful is already here. This is the deep lesson. You do not need to wait for a different life to become awake. You can awaken inside the life you have. You can bring attention to your breath. You can bring kindness to your words. You can bring gratitude to your day. You can bring patience to your pain. You can bring wisdom to your choices. And slowly, your life begins to change. Not because every outside condition becomes perfect, but because you are no longer absent from your own existence. You start noticing what you used to ignore. You start feeling grateful for what you used to overlook. You start releasing what you used to carry. You start living instead of merely surviving. Do not die realizing you were always somewhere else. Always in yesterday, always in tomorrow. Always in your phone, always in someone else's opinion, always in worry, always in comparison, always in a dream of a better future, while the real life was quietly happening in front of you. Come back to your breath. Come back to your heart. Come back to the people who matter. Come back to the small joys. Come back to the present moment. Come back before the years disappear. Life is not only something you must achieve. Life is something you must experience. If you are never present, even success will feel empty. Even love will feel distant. Even blessings will feel invisible. But when you are present, even a simple day can become meaningful. So today, practice being here. When you wake up, take one breath before touching the world. When you eat, slow down and taste the food. When someone speaks, listen with your full heart. When worry comes, notice it without becoming it. When anger rises, pause before obeying it. When the sky is beautiful, look at it. When life offers you a small peaceful moment, do not rush past it. These small acts are not small. They are how you reclaim your life. A wasted life is not only a life without success. A wasted life is a life without presence. A life where you were given moments but did not enter them. A life where you were surrounded by blessings but too distracted to feel them. A life where you were alive but always waiting to live later. Do not let that be your story. Let your story be different. Let it be the story of someone who woke up. Someone who stopped running from the present. Someone who learned to breathe again. Someone who realized that peace was not waiting in the far future, but hidden inside the moment they kept ignoring. Because life is too short to be absent from it. And the moment you return to the present, you return to the only place where true living begins. 9. Stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Many people waste their life carrying burdens that were never truly theirs. They carry other people's expectations, other people's judgments, other people's anger, other people's mistakes, and other people's emotional weight. They move through life with a heavy heart, not because life itself is always heavy, but because they have collected too many things that do not belong inside their soul. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when we cling. Sometimes we cling to desires, sometimes we cling to pain, sometimes we cling to people, sometimes we cling to memories, but sometimes we cling to responsibilities that were never ours. We feel guilty for things we could not control. We feel responsible for other people's happiness. We feel forced to fix everyone, please everyone, understand everyone, and carry everyone until our own inner peace disappears. This is one of the quiet ways people lose their life. They become loyal to burdens that are destroying them. They think suffering for everyone proves they are kind. They think never saying no proves they are loving. They think sacrificing their peace for every person proves they are good. But Buddhism reminds us that compassion without wisdom becomes self-destruction. True compassion does not mean you must destroy yourself to save everyone. True kindness does not mean you must carry every pain that appears around you. True love does not mean you must lose your mind trying to control another person's journey. You can care deeply and still have boundaries. You can love someone and still refuse to carry what only they must learn from. You can be kind and still protect your peace. Many people confuse responsibility with control. They believe if someone is unhappy, it is their job to make them happy. If someone is angry, it is their job to calm them. If someone is disappointed, it is their job to fix it. If someone misunderstands them, it is their job to explain until they are finally accepted. But this way of living turns life into a prison. You are responsible for your actions, your words, your intentions, and the energy you bring into the world. But you are not responsible for controlling every reaction, every opinion, every mood, and every wound inside another person. You cannot heal someone who refuses to look at their own pain. You cannot make someone peaceful if they are committed to conflict. You cannot make everyone understand you if they are not willing to listen. When you carry what is not yours, you become tired in a way sleep cannot fix. Your body rests, but your mind keeps holding. You wake up with the same heaviness. You keep thinking about what someone said, what someone needs, what someone expects, what someone might think, what someone might do. Your own life becomes smaller because your attention is always trapped in other people's storms. Buddhism teaches the middle way. It is not coldness and it is not self-abandonment. It is balance. You do not have to become selfish to stop carrying unnecessary burdens. You do not have to become harsh to protect your peace. You simply have to become wise enough to know what belongs to you and what does not. There are pains you can support, but not solve. There are people you can love, but not rescue. There are situations you can guide, but not control. There are outcomes you can influence, but not force. When you understand this, your heart becomes lighter. You stop trying to carry the entire world on your shoulders, and you return to the work that is truly yours. Ask yourself gently, what am I carrying right now that is not mine? Maybe you are carrying someone's opinion of you. Maybe you are carrying guilt from a past mistake that you have already learned from. Maybe you are carrying the emotional needs of people who never ask how you are. Maybe you are carrying the pressure to be perfect, to be available all the time, to never disappoint anyone, to never rest, to never need support. These burdens may feel familiar, but familiar does not mean healthy. A cage can feel familiar if you have lived inside it long enough. Suffering can feel normal if you have carried it for years. But just because you have carried something for a long time does not mean you must carry it until the end of your life. Life is too short to spend it bent under weight that was never meant for your heart. You were not born to be everyone's emotional storage place. You were not born to live as the solution to every person's pain. You were not born to prove your worth by how much you can suffer in silence. In Buddhism, letting go is not rejection of life. Letting go is returning to reality. It is seeing clearly what can be changed and what cannot. It is understanding that some things are beyond your control. It is accepting that each person has their own karma, their own choices, their own lessons, and their own path of awakening. This does not mean you stop helping. It means you help without becoming attached to controlling the result. You offer kindness, but you do not force transformation. You offer support, but you do not become a prisoner to someone else's suffering. You offer love, but you do not lose yourself inside the life of another person. One of the deepest forms of wisdom is knowing when to step back. Sometimes stepping back is not abandonment. Sometimes it is respect. It is respecting your own limits. It is respecting the other person's journey. It is respecting the truth that growth cannot be forced from the outside. A person must become ready within themselves. Many people waste years trying to change someone who does not want to change. They keep explaining, forgiving, hoping, waiting, and suffering. They believe that if they love harder, try harder, sacrifice more, then one day everything will become peaceful. But love cannot replace another person's willingness. Your suffering cannot become someone else's awakening. There comes a time when you must ask, is this love or is this attachment? Is this compassion or is this fear of letting go? Am I helping or am I losing myself? These questions may feel painful, but they can save your life from years of unnecessary suffering. Buddhism teaches that attachment often wears the mask of love. We say, I care, but sometimes what we really mean is, I am afraid to let this change. We say, I cannot leave, but sometimes what we really mean is, I do not know who I am without this pain. We say, I must fix them, but sometimes what we really mean is, I am trying to control what life is asking me to release. To stop carrying what is not yours, you must become honest with yourself. You must notice where your kindness has become exhaustion. You must notice where your patience has become self-neglect. You must notice where your love has become fear. You must notice where your loyalty has become a chain. This honesty is not easy, but it is necessary, because the life you save by letting go may be your own. The peace you protect may be the peace you have been needing for years. The energy you stop wasting may finally return to your own healing, your own growth, your own purpose, and your own awakening. Sometimes the burden you are carrying is not a person. Sometimes it is an old version of yourself. You carry shame from who you used to be. You carry regret from mistakes you made when you did not know better. You carry the identity of failure because something did not work out. You keep punishing yourself for a chapter that has already ended. But Buddhism teaches that everything is changing. You are not fixed forever as the person you were in your worst moment. You are not your anger, You are not your fear. You are not your mistake. You are not your past. You are a living, changing being with the ability to learn, awaken, begin again. If you keep carrying shame, you will keep living as if the past is still happening, but the past is not here. Only the memory is here. Only the lesson is here. And if you have learned the lesson, you do not need to keep carrying the punishment. Let the lesson make you wiser, not heavier. Forgive yourself for the years you lived without awareness. Forgive yourself for the choices you made from pain. Forgive yourself for staying too long, speaking too harshly, trusting too easily, doubting yourself too deeply, or wasting time on what did not matter. Forgiveness does not erase responsibility. It gives you the strength to live differently. A person who cannot forgive themselves remains trapped in yesterday. They may walk into new days, but their heart still lives in old pain. Do not let that be your life. Let the past teach you, then let it release you. You have already paid enough with your peace. Another burden many people carry is the fear of disappointing others. They say yes when their whole body wants to say no. They give when they are empty. They smile when they are breaking. They keep showing up for everyone while disappearing from themselves. And slowly, they begin to resent the very people they were trying to please. This is why boundaries matter. Boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are clarity. A boundary says, I can love you, but I cannot abandon myself. A boundary says, I can help, but I cannot carry your whole life. A boundary says, I can listen, but I cannot become the home for your constant negativity. A boundary says, my peace also matters. Without boundaries, your life becomes open land for everyone's pain, anger, demands, and expectations. With boundaries, your life becomes a sacred space. You decide what enters, you decide what stays, you decide what must leave. This is not selfish, this is spiritual maturity. Buddhism teaches compassion, but it also teaches awareness. Compassion without awareness can become blind sacrifice. Awareness without compassion can become coldness. But when compassion and awareness walk together, you become kind without becoming weak, loving without becoming lost, generous without becoming empty. To live without regret, you must learn this balance. You must help where you can, but release what you cannot control. You must care, but not cling. You must love, but not possess. You must serve, but not destroy yourself. You must give, but not forget that your own life is also sacred. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent most of your years carrying fear that never happened, guilt that was not yours, anger that poisoned you, and expectations from people who were never satisfied. Imagine realizing that you had the chance to live freely, but you spent your precious time trying to keep everyone comfortable while your own heart was quietly suffering. Do not wait for that regret. Put down what is not yours now. Put down the need to fix everyone. Put down the need to be liked by everyone. Put down the guilt that belongs to someone else's choices. Put down the shame that has already taught you its lesson. Put down the pressure to carry every problem, every emotion, every judgment, and every expectation. Take one deep breath and remember that your life is also life. Your peace is also important. Your heart also deserves gentleness. Your path also deserves attention. You cannot spend your whole life living inside other people's needs and then wonder why you feel empty inside. When you release unnecessary burdens, you create space. Space for peace, space for joy, space for wisdom, space for your own dreams, space for your own healing, space to hear your inner voice again, space to notice the beauty that was hidden beneath the weight you carried for too long. And when you become lighter, you do not become less loving. You become more truly loving, because love that comes from exhaustion often becomes resentment. But love that comes from a peaceful heart becomes clean, wise, and sincere. You can give without bitterness. You can help without losing yourself. You can care without becoming chained. This is the kind of love Buddhism points toward. A love that is awake. A love that understands impermanence. A love that does not cling. A love that does not control. A love that allows others to walk their path while you continue walking yours. So today, look at your heart carefully. Notice what feels heavy. Notice what keeps returning to your mind. Notice what drains your spirit. Notice what makes you feel responsible for things beyond your control. Then ask yourself, is this mine to carry, or is this something I need to release? If it is yours, face it with courage. If you made a mistake, correct it. If you hurt someone, apologize. If you have a responsibility, handle it with honesty. But if it is not yours, release it with wisdom. Let others own their choices. Let the past become a lesson. Let opinions pass like wind. Let expectations fall away when they demand the death of your peace. Life is too short to carry what was never yours. Your time here is limited. Your energy is limited. Your breath is precious. Do not spend your whole life under invisible weight. Do not die realizing you were loyal to burdens that never gave you peace. Walk lighter. Breathe deeper. Love wiser. Help with compassion, but live with awareness. Carry your truth, your kindness, your responsibility, and your purpose. But leave behind the guilt, the shame, the expectations, and the emotional weight that do not belong to your soul. The path becomes clearer when the heart becomes lighter. And when the heart becomes lighter, life becomes easier to feel, easier to appreciate, and easier to live with peace. 10. Stop mistaking busyness for a meaningful life. Many people are busy every day, but deep inside they still feel empty. They wake up tired, rush through the morning, answer messages, chase tasks, work hard, handle responsibilities, think about problems, and fall asleep with a mind that never truly becomes quiet. From the outside, their life looks full, but inside, something feels missing. This is one of the greatest traps of modern life. People confuse movement with meaning. They confuse being occupied with being alive. They confuse having many things to do with having a life that truly matters. But Buddhism teaches us to look deeper. A life can be full of activity and still be empty of awareness. A person can be surrounded by noise and still feel spiritually alone. Busyness can become a hiding place. Some people stay busy because they do not want to face their own heart. They do not want to sit in silence, because silence may reveal the sadness they have ignored. They do not want to slow down because slowing down may show them how far they have moved away from themselves. They do not want stillness because stillness may ask them questions they are afraid to answer. So they keep running. They run from task to task. They run from screen to screen. They run from one responsibility to another. They fill every empty space with something. But no matter how much they do, the heart remains unsatisfied because the heart is not only asking for productivity. The heart is asking for presence, peace, love, purpose, and truth. Buddhism reminds us that life is not measured only by how much we complete. It is measured by how awake we are while living. You can complete many tasks and still miss the beauty of your own life. You can achieve many goals and still feel disconnected from your soul. You can become successful in the eyes of the world and still feel lost inside yourself. This does not mean work is bad. It does not mean ambition is wrong. It does not mean you should stop building your life. Work can be meaningful, discipline can be beautiful, responsibility can be noble, but when busyness becomes your entire identity, you begin to lose the deeper purpose of living. Ask yourself honestly, am I busy because this truly matters? Or am I busy because I am afraid to be still? Am I moving with purpose, or am I only running from emptiness? Am I using my time wisely, or am I filling my days so I do not have to feel what is inside me? These questions are not easy, but they are powerful. They help you separate meaningful action from unconscious running. They help you see whether your life is being guided by wisdom or by fear. Because not everything that keeps you busy is important. Some things only keep you distracted. Some things only give you the feeling of progress while your soul remains unchanged. Many people spend years doing things that do not deeply matter. They reply to every message but ignore their inner voice. They attend to every demand but neglect their own peace. They keep their schedule full but their heart empty. They build a life that looks productive, but when they sit alone, they do not feel deeply fulfilled. Buddhism teaches right effort. Right effort is not forcing yourself endlessly until you break. Right effort is not chasing every desire without awareness. Right effort means using your energy in a wise direction. It means knowing what to nourish and what to release. It means giving strength to what brings awakening, kindness, clarity, and peace. There is wrong effort too. Wrong effort is working hard for things that destroy your mind. Wrong effort is spending your energy to impress people who do not truly know you. Wrong effort is chasing goals only because others are chasing them. Wrong effort is staying busy to avoid healing. Wrong effort is giving your whole life to things that will not matter when your life is ending. A busy life is not always a meaningful life. A meaningful life is a conscious life. It is a life where your actions are connected to your values. It is a life where your work does not completely steal your soul. It is a life where you make time for silence, gratitude, love, reflection, and inner peace. It is a life where you do not become so consumed by doing that you forget how to simply be. Many people are afraid of doing less because they think slowing down means falling behind. But sometimes slowing down is how you finally return to the right path. If you are running in the wrong direction, speed will only take you farther from peace. If your life is filled with things that do not matter, doing more of them will not make your life meaningful. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is pause and ask, where is all this taking me? Not just financially, not just socially, not just professionally, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Where is this life taking your heart? Is it making you more peaceful or more restless? More loving or more impatient, more aware or more distracted, more free or more trapped? Buddhism asks us to wake up before life passes in unconscious motion, because a person can be busy for decades and still die with regret. They can spend their whole life saying, I did not have time, no time to rest, no time to love deeply, no time to forgive, no time to sit with family, no time to understand themselves, no time to be present. But the truth is, time was there. It was simply given to things that looked urgent, but were not truly important. This is one of the deepest regrets a person can face. To realize they gave their best years to pressure, noise, and survival, but not to what made their heart alive. To realize they were always available for tasks, but not available for their own soul. To realize they were always chasing the next thing, but rarely present for the life already in front of them. Life is too short to be busy with things that do not matter. Your energy is sacred. Your attention is sacred. Your breath is sacred. Every day you are spending your life on something. So before you give your attention away, ask whether it deserves a piece of your life. Not every invitation deserves yes. Not every message needs an immediate answer. Not every problem needs your full mind. Not every expectation deserves your sacrifice. Not every opportunity is aligned with your peace. Sometimes saying no is not laziness. Sometimes saying no is wisdom. Sometimes doing less is not weakness. Sometimes doing less means you finally understand what matters. A meaningful life requires space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to feel, space to heal, space to listen to your heart, space to be with the people you love, space to notice beauty, space to understand your own direction. Without space, your life becomes crowded, and when life becomes too crowded, wisdom becomes hard to hear. Many people are uncomfortable with space because they are used to noise. The moment life becomes quiet, they feel restless. They reach for the phone, turn on a video, start another task, or search for another distraction. But if you never allow space, you never hear the deeper truth of your life. Silence may show you that you are tired. Silence may show you that you miss someone. Silence may show you that your path needs to change. Silence may show you that you are carrying pain. Silence may show you that you have been living for approval instead of truth. This is why silence is powerful. It does not always comfort you first. Sometimes it awakens you first. And awakening can feel uncomfortable in the beginning. But it is better to feel uncomfortable truth now than to feel painful regret later. It is better to pause today than to reach the end of life and realize you were always running from yourself. It is better to simplify your life now than to carry a full schedule and an empty heart for years. Buddhism teaches us to live simply, not because life must be small, but because a simple heart can see clearly. When your life is overloaded with unnecessary things, Your mind becomes cloudy. When your mind is cloudy, you cannot see what truly matters. You make choices from pressure. You react from stress. You chase from fear. You speak from irritation. You live from survival, not awareness. But when life becomes simpler, clarity returns. You begin to notice what nourishes you and what drains you. You begin to understand which relationships bring peace and which relationships bring constant suffering. You begin to see which goals are true and which goals only came from comparison. You begin to feel which actions are aligned with your soul and which actions are only habits of fear. Simplicity does not mean having nothing. It means not being owned by everything. It means you can work without worshipping work. You can earn without losing your soul to money. You can love without clinging. You can use technology without becoming addicted to distraction. You can build a life without forgetting the one who is living it. A meaningful life is not found by adding endlessly. Sometimes it is found by removing. Remove what constantly disturbs your peace. Remove habits that make your mind restless. Remove unnecessary arguments. Remove the need to prove yourself. Remove the pressure to be available to everyone all the time. Remove the belief that your worth depends on how busy you are. You are not more valuable because you are exhausted. You are not more worthy because you never rest. You are not more successful because your mind is always overwhelmed. A peaceful person may look slower to the world, but inside they may be living with far more wisdom than someone who is constantly running. There is a kind of poverty that has nothing to do with money. It is the poverty of attention. It is when a person has many things but cannot enjoy any of them. They have food but eat without awareness. They have family but listen without presence. They have a home but never feel at home inside themselves. They have time but spend it unconsciously. They have life but do not fully enter it. Do not let this become your story. Do not become so busy building a life that you forget to live the life you are building. Do not become so focused on reaching the future that today becomes invisible. Do not give your entire heart to productivity while your soul is quietly starving for peace. To stop mistaking busyness for meaning, you must return to intention. Before you begin your day, ask, what truly matters today? Maybe it is completing important work. Maybe it is taking care of your health. Maybe it is speaking kindly to someone. Maybe it is spending time with your family. Maybe it is sitting in silence for 10 minutes. Maybe it is letting go of an argument. Maybe it is resting without guilt. When you live with intention, your day becomes different. You do not only react to whatever demands your attention. You choose. You guide your energy instead of letting the world pull it in every direction. This is a form of freedom. The distracted person is pulled by everything. The aware person chooses what to hold. The distracted person fills time. The aware person honors time. The distracted person asks, how much can I do? The aware person asks, what is truly worth doing? This difference can change your whole life. There may be days when you still have many responsibilities. Life is not always quiet. You may have work, family, problems, bills, duties, and pressure. Buddhism does not ask you to escape your life. It asks you to bring awareness into your life. Even when you are busy, you can still be mindful. You can breathe between tasks. You can speak gently. You can walk without rushing inside. You can do one thing at a time with your full attention. You can remember that you are a human being, not a machine. This is important. You do not need to wait for a silent life to become peaceful. You can practice peace in the middle of daily life. You can wash a cup with awareness. You can drive with awareness. You can answer a message with awareness. You can work with awareness. You can rest with awareness. The ordinary day becomes spiritual when awareness enters it. But if your busyness is constantly destroying your mind, then you must be honest. Some burdens need to be reduced. Some commitments need to be released. Some habits need to change. Some boundaries need to be created. Some parts of your life may be full, but not meaningful. And the courage to admit this may save you from deep regret. Many people wait until their body becomes sick before they listen. They wait until burnout breaks them. They wait until relationships become distant. They wait until their mind becomes too tired to enjoy anything. They wait until life forces them to stop. But wisdom means stopping before you are forced. Wisdom means listening before the pain becomes louder. Your body speaks. Your mind speaks. Your heart speaks. Tiredness speaks. Irritation speaks. Emptiness speaks. If you ignore these messages, suffering grows. But if you listen with awareness, they become teachers. They show you where life has become unbalanced. Do not be proud of a life that is silently destroying you. Do not call it strength when you are only ignoring your limits. Do not call it success if your peace is gone. Do not call it purpose if your heart feels dead inside. Real purpose gives energy to the soul, even when it requires effort. False purpose drains the soul, even when it brings applause. Buddhism teaches us to look at the roots. Why are you doing what you are doing? Is it from love or fear, from wisdom or ego, from purpose or comparison, from truth or pressure? The same action can have different roots. Working hard from purpose feels different from working hard to prove your worth. Helping others from compassion feels different from helping because you fear rejection. Building a future from wisdom feels different from chasing because you feel empty. When you understand the root, you understand the path. If the root is fear, the fruit will often be suffering. If the root is awareness, the fruit will often be peace. This is why inner intention matters so much. Life is not only about what you do, it is also about the consciousness from which you do it. A meaningful life is a life where the outer actions and inner truth begin to align. You stop living only to look successful. You stop saying yes while your soul says no. You stop chasing paths that do not belong to you. You stop filling every hour with noise. You begin choosing what brings depth, not just speed. Depth is what many people are missing. They have many contacts but few real connections. Many tasks but little purpose. Many pleasures but little peace. Many goals but little stillness. Many words but little truth. A deep life does not need to be loud. It only needs to be real. To live deeply, be present with what you do. If you are working, work with awareness. If you are resting, rest without guilt. If you are with someone, truly be with them. If you are alone, do not immediately run from yourself. If you are suffering, listen to what the suffering is teaching. If you are happy, do not rush past it looking for the next thing. This is how life becomes meaningful, not by becoming busier, but by becoming more awake. Imagine your final day. Imagine looking back at all the years you spent rushing. What would you wish you had slowed down for? Who would you wish you had listened to more deeply? What simple moments would you wish you had appreciated? Which worries would look completely unnecessary? Which tasks would seem less important than they once appeared? This reflection is not meant to make you sad. It is meant to make you clear, because you are not at the end yet. You are here now. You still have time to change how you live. You still have time to stop worshipping busyness. You still have time to make room for what matters. You still have time to live with more presence, more wisdom, and more peace. So choose one thing today that brings you back to life. Maybe slow down your morning. Maybe take a walk without your phone. Maybe eat one meal with full attention. Maybe call someone you love. Maybe sit quietly and breathe. Maybe remove one unnecessary commitment. Maybe stop one useless argument. Maybe say no to something that drains you. Maybe say yes to something that heals you. Small choices become a life. Small distractions become a wasted life. Small moments of awareness become a meaningful life. Do not underestimate the power of returning. Return to your breath. Return to your values. Return to your peace. Return to your purpose. Return to the people who matter. Return to the simple beauty of being alive. Return before the years pass and your heart asks why you were always rushing. Life is too short to be busy with things that leave you empty. Life is too sacred to spend only in noise. Life is too precious to treat like a checklist. You are not here only to complete tasks. You are here to awaken, to love, to learn, to forgive, to grow, to become peaceful, and to experience the miracle of being alive. So work, but do not lose yourself in work. Build, but do not forget to live. Serve, but do not abandon your soul. Move forward, But do not rush so much that you cannot feel your own life. Be responsible, but also be present. Be disciplined, but also be gentle. Be ambitious, but also be awake. When busyness becomes conscious, it becomes service. When action comes from awareness, it becomes meaningful. When life is lived with presence, even ordinary tasks become part of the path. But when busyness is unconscious, it becomes a slow form of escape. Do not escape your life. Enter it. Enter this breath. Enter this day. Enter this moment. Enter your own heart. Notice what matters before it becomes a memory. Love what matters before it is gone. Release what does not matter before it steals more of your time. Do not die realizing you were busy every day but never truly alive. Wake up now, slow down inside, choose wisely. Spend your life on what brings peace, truth, love, and awareness. Because a meaningful life is not the life that looks the busiest. A meaningful life is the life that feels awake in the heart. 11. Stop comparing your life to someone else's path. One of the fastest ways to waste your life is to keep measuring it against someone else's journey. Many people do not suffer because their life is truly empty. They suffer because they are constantly comparing their life to another person's life. They look at someone else's success, someone else's money, someone else's relationship, someone else's beauty, someone else's progress, and suddenly their own blessings begin to look small. Comparison is a silent thief. It does not always take things from your hands, but it takes peace from your heart. It makes you forget what you already have. It makes you feel behind even when you are growing. It makes you feel poor even when you are blessed. It makes you feel unsuccessful even when you are moving at the right pace for your own life. Buddhism teaches us to see clearly. And when you see clearly, you understand that every person is walking a different path, carrying different karma, learning different lessons, healing different wounds, and moving through life with a different inner world. What you see on the outside is never the whole truth. You may see someone's success, but not their suffering. You may see their smile, but not their loneliness. You may see their achievements, but not the sacrifices that came with them. This is why comparison is unfair to your soul. You are comparing your unseen struggles to someone else's visible results. You are comparing your private pain to their public image. You are comparing the whole weight of your life to the small part of their life that you are allowed to see. And because of this, your mind creates suffering that may not even be based on truth. Many people waste years feeling behind. They think, by this age, I should have been richer. By this age, I should have been married. By this age, I should have been more successful. By this age, I should have figured everything out. But life does not unfold the same way for everyone. A flower does not bloom faster because another flower opened first. A river does not become wrong because it reaches the ocean later than another. River, your path has its own timing, your growth has its own rhythm, your lessons have their own season. You cannot force your life to copy someone else's life and still expect to feel peaceful inside. When you try to live another person's timeline, you abandon your own. Buddhism reminds us that suffering grows when the mind clings to illusions. One of the greatest illusions is the belief that everyone else is ahead and you are behind. But behind what? Behind whose measurement? Behind which rule? Many of the timelines that pressure you were not created by wisdom. They were created by society, comparison, fear, and expectation. You may think you are late, but perhaps you are only being prepared. You may think you are behind, but perhaps your path requires deeper roots before visible growth. You may think nothing is happening, but perhaps life is teaching you patience, humility, strength, and awareness before giving you what you desire. Not every season of your life will look like progress from the outside. Some seasons are for healing, some seasons are for learning, some seasons are for rebuilding quietly, some seasons are for understanding yourself, some seasons are for letting go of what cannot come with you into the next chapter. If you compare during these seasons, you may mistake inner growth for failure. A tree grows in silence before anyone enjoys its shade. Roots grow when nobody can see them. The most important parts of growth are often hidden. In the same way, Your life may be changing quietly before it changes visibly. Do not insult your hidden growth just because it is not yet obvious to the world. Comparison also makes you ungrateful. When your eyes are always on someone else's plate, you forget to taste the food in front of you. When your mind is always on someone else's achievements, you forget to honor your own small victories. When your heart is always chasing what others have, you forget the blessings already living inside your own life. Gratitude is the medicine for comparison. Gratitude brings your attention back from someone else's life to your own. It teaches you to see what is here, not only what is missing. It reminds you that your breath is a blessing, your body is a blessing, your ability to learn is a blessing, your chance to begin again is a blessing. These may sound simple, but many people only understand their value after losing them. Buddhism does not teach us to reject ambition. It teaches us to purify the reason behind our ambition. There is a difference between growing because your heart feels called to grow and chasing because comparison makes you feel worthless. There is a difference between improving yourself from awareness and improving yourself from self-hatred. There is a difference between walking your path with purpose and running because you are afraid of being left behind. When your growth comes from comparison, you may achieve things and still feel empty, because the root is not peace, the root is fear. You are not building from love. You are building from insecurity. You are not moving from wisdom. You are moving from the pain of feeling not enough. And anything built on the feeling of not enough will keep demanding more and more from you. This is why many successful people still feel restless. They finally reach the place they thought would make them happy, but then they compare again. Someone has more. Someone is younger. Someone is richer. Someone is more admired. Someone is moving faster, and the suffering continues. Because comparison has no finish line. If you do not heal the comparing mind, nothing will ever feel enough. You can gain more and still feel behind. You can become admired and still feel insecure. You can reach your goals and still feel threatened by someone else's progress. Peace does not come from being ahead of others. Peace comes from being rooted in your own path. Your life is not a race against another person's life. Their success does not steal your chance. Their beauty does not reduce your worth. Their progress does not cancel your progress. Their happiness does not mean you are failing. The mind that believes life is a competition will never rest, because there will always be someone to compare with. Buddhism teaches compassion, and compassion includes rejoicing in the happiness of others. Instead of letting someone's success become poison in your heart, let it become proof that growth is possible. When someone else rises, you do not need to shrink. When someone else shines, your light is not taken away. The sky can hold many stars, but to truly celebrate others, you must first stop hating your own journey. You must stop treating your life like it is wrong because it does not look like someone else's. You must stop using another person's chapter to judge your own page. You must stop turning your path into a punishment. There are things you have survived that others may not know. There are battles you fought in silence. There are nights you made it through when your mind was heavy. There are disappointments that changed you. There are responsibilities you carried. There are wounds you are still learning to heal. So be gentle with yourself. You are not lazy because you are healing. You are not a failure because you are learning slowly. You are not behind because your path is different. One of the deepest forms of peace is accepting your own timing, not as an excuse to stop growing, but as a way to stop punishing yourself while you grow. Acceptance does not mean you do nothing. It means you stop fighting reality with hatred. You see where you are, you breathe, and then you take the next wise step. This is how real growth happens. Not through panic, not through jealousy, not through constant self-attack. Real growth happens when you become honest, patient, and consistent. You stop asking, "Why am I not like them?" And you begin asking, "What is the next right step for me?" This question brings power back into your hands. You cannot live another person's life. You cannot borrow their timing. You cannot become peaceful by copying their path. But you can take one step on your own path. You can learn one skill. You can release one habit. You can heal one wound. You can speak one truth. You can make one choice that brings your life closer to peace. Comparison pulls your energy outward. Awareness brings it inward. Comparison says, look at them. Awareness says, return to yourself. Comparison says, you are not enough. Awareness says, you are growing. Comparison says, you are late. Awareness says, this moment is still open. Do not give your whole life to the voice of comparison. That voice will never bless you. It will only show you what is missing. It will only make you restless. It will only turn your journey into a burden. If you keep listening to it, you may reach the end of your life and realize you were so busy watching other people live that you forgot to live your own life. Imagine how painful that would be, to look back and realize you did not enjoy your own blessings because you were counting someone else's. To realize you did not honor your own progress because you were obsessed with someone else's speed. To realize you did not walk your path with peace because you kept wishing it looked different. Do not wait for that regret. Come back to your own life now. Your path may be quiet, but it is still meaningful. Your progress may be slow, but it is still progress. Your healing may be invisible, but it is still healing. Your life may not look like someone else's, but it is still sacred. You do not need to become a copy of another person to prove that your existence has value. Buddhism teaches that each moment is an opportunity to awaken. And awakening cannot happen while you are lost in someone else's life. Awakening happens when you return to your own breath, your own mind, your own heart, your own suffering, your own choices, and your own present moment. So close the door to unnecessary comparison. If something makes you constantly hate your life, step away from it. If looking at certain things fills your heart with jealousy, rest your eyes. If certain conversations make you feel small, protect your mind. You are responsible for the garden of your awareness. Do not keep planting seeds of comparison and expect peace to grow. Feed your mind with gratitude. Feed your heart with patience. Feed your path with small wise actions. Feed your life with presence. These things may not look loud, but they build a peaceful soul. And remember this, the life that is meant for you may not arrive through the same road as someone else. Your blessings may come differently. Your growth may look different. Your healing may take longer. Your success may be quieter. Your joy may be simpler. But different does not mean less. Quiet does not mean empty. Slow does not mean wrong. Sometimes the most beautiful lives are not the ones that look impressive from the outside. They are the ones that feel peaceful inside. They are the lives built on gratitude, kindness, wisdom, love, simplicity, and awareness. They may not win the world's comparison game, but they win something far greater. They win inner freedom. So stop comparing your life to someone else's path. Stop using another person's journey as a weapon against your own heart. Stop turning life into a race that no one truly wins. Walk your path, learn your lessons, heal your wounds, honor your timing, celebrate your small progress. Trust the quiet work happening inside you. Life is too short to spend it feeling behind. Life is too precious to waste it in jealousy. Life is too sacred to spend it wishing you were someone else. You were given this life, this breath, this body, this mind, this path. Do not abandon it. Live your life so fully that you no longer need to measure it against another. Grow so honestly that comparison loses its power. Become so present with your own journey that someone else's progress can inspire you without wounding you. Because when you stop comparing, you begin to see clearly. And when you see clearly, you realize your life was never meant to be a copy. It was meant to be awakened, lived, and honored as your own. 12. Stop postponing your peace until everything becomes perfect. Many people spend their whole life waiting for peace to arrive later. They believe peace will come after the problems disappear, after the money improves, after the right person enters their life, after the wrong person leaves, after the body feels better, after the future becomes clear, after every question is answered, and after life finally becomes easy. But Buddhism teaches us a deep truth. If you wait for life to become perfect before you allow yourself to feel peaceful, you may wait your whole life. Life will always have movement. One problem ends and another responsibility appears. One fear becomes quiet and another uncertainty begins. One goal is reached and the mind quickly creates a new desire. This is the nature of the restless mind. It keeps saying, not yet. Peace is not possible yet. Happiness is not possible yet. Wait until everything is arranged exactly the way you want. But the more you listen to this voice, the more your life passes without you truly living it. Peace is not something you only find when life becomes easy. Peace is something you practice while life is still changing. Peace is not the absence of all problems. Peace is the ability to breathe with awareness in the middle of an imperfect life. Peace is learning how to stay connected to your heart even when circumstances are uncertain. Peace is learning how to stop giving every problem the power to control your entire inner world. Many people think peace means nothing painful is happening. But that is not real peace. That is comfort. Comfort depends on conditions. Comfort says, I am calm because everything is going my way. But peace is deeper than comfort. Peace says, even though everything is not going my way, I will not abandon myself. I will breathe. I will observe. I will respond with wisdom. I will not let this moment destroy the whole of my mind. This is why Buddhism teaches awareness. Awareness gives you space between what happens and how you respond. Without awareness, every problem enters your mind like a storm. Someone speaks harshly and you become angry. Something changes and you become afraid. Something is delayed and you become impatient. Someone disagrees with you and you become defensive. Life moves a little differently than you planned, and your peace disappears. But with awareness, something changes. The same event may happen, but you are no longer completely controlled by it. You can notice the anger before it becomes harmful words. You can notice the fear before it becomes panic. You can notice the sadness before it becomes hopelessness. You can notice the craving before it becomes suffering. This noticing is powerful. It is the beginning of freedom. You do not need a perfect life to begin practicing peace. You can begin right where you are. You can begin with the breath you are taking now. You can begin by softening your body. You can begin by noticing the thoughts passing through your mind. You can begin by saying, this moment is difficult, but I do not have to make it heavier with resistance. You can begin by returning to what is real instead of drowning in what your fear imagines. Many people create extra suffering by fighting reality. Something happens, and instead of facing it calmly, the mind says, this should not be happening. Why is this happening to me? Life should be different. This is unfair. I cannot handle this. These thoughts may feel natural, but they often add more pain to the pain that is already there. The situation may be difficult, but resistance makes it heavier. Buddhism does not teach that you should pretend pain is not pain. It teaches you to see pain clearly without becoming lost inside it. If something hurts, acknowledge it. If something is difficult, accept that it is difficult. If something needs action, take action. But do not turn one difficulty into 1,000 mental stories. Do not let the mind create a prison around one moment. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain may come from life itself. Suffering often comes from the mind's attachment, resistance, fear, and endless storytelling. You may not always control the first pain, but you can learn to reduce the second pain. This is one of the greatest gifts of awareness. For example, if someone leaves your life, the pain may be real, but the mind may add suffering by saying, I will never be happy again. I am not worthy. Everyone leaves me. My life is ruined. These thoughts deepen the wound. They turn a painful event into an identity. But awareness can gently say, this hurts, but this is not the whole of my life. This feeling is strong, but it is not permanent. This ending is painful, but it may still teach me something. This does not remove pain instantly, but it changes your relationship with pain. Instead of being swallowed by it, you begin to hold it with wisdom. You begin to understand that feelings are visitors. They arrive, they stay for a while, and they pass. Even grief changes. Even fear changes. Even anger changes. Nothing remains exactly the same forever. When you understand impermanence, you stop postponing peace. You realize that waiting for everything to become perfect is another form of attachment. You are attached to a future condition. You are telling yourself, I cannot be peaceful until life becomes exactly how I want. But life is not under your complete control. If your peace depends on controlling everything, your peace will always be fragile. True peace grows when you stop demanding that life obey your every desire before you can breathe calmly. It grows when you learn to meet life as it is, not as your mind insists it must be. This does not mean you give up improving your life. It means you stop hating the present while you work toward a better future. You can want change without rejecting today. You can work for improvement without living in constant dissatisfaction. You can dream of a better future while still appreciating what is already here. This balance is important. Without it, ambition becomes suffering. Healing becomes pressure. Growth becomes self-hatred. And the journey of life becomes something you never allow yourself to enjoy. Many people say, I will be peaceful when I finally become successful. But success without inner peace only creates a more decorated form of restlessness. If your mind is always hungry, success will not satisfy it for long. If your heart is always comparing, achievement will not feel enough. If your identity depends on applause, recognition will only make you fear losing it. This is why inner peace must not be postponed until after success. It must be practiced along the way. Others say, I will be peaceful when someone finally loves me correctly. But if your entire peace depends on another person, you will live in fear. You will fear their mood. You will fear their distance. You will fear their silence. You will fear losing them. Love is beautiful, but attachment makes love heavy. Buddhism teaches that love becomes freer when it is joined with awareness, not clinging. You can love someone deeply without making them the only source of your peace. You can appreciate connection without losing your center. You can care without controlling. You can give your heart without abandoning yourself. This is not coldness. This is mature love. It allows love to breathe instead of turning it into a prison. Some people say, I will be peaceful when my past stops hurting. But peace does not always come after every wound disappears. Sometimes peace begins when you stop reopening the wound every day. Sometimes peace begins when you stop telling the same painful story to yourself, as if it is still happening now. Sometimes peace begins when you accept that the past cannot be changed, but your relationship with the past can change. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not have to own you forever. The mind may return to old pain, but awareness can guide it back. The heart may still ache, but gentleness can sit beside it. Healing is not forcing yourself to forget. Healing is learning to remember without being controlled. Healing is learning to carry the lesson without carrying the same suffering forever. Do not wait until you are completely healed to live. Healing and living can happen together. You can be healing and still laugh. You can be healing and still love. You can be healing and still create. You can be healing and still enjoy a peaceful morning. You do not need to be perfectly whole before you deserve moments of peace. This is important because many people punish themselves with their pain. They think, I am not allowed to be happy yet. I still have problems. I still have sadness. I still have anxiety. I still have things to fix. But peace is not a reward for having no problems. Peace is medicine for the journey. You need peace while you are healing, not only after healing is complete. Buddhism teaches the practice of returning. You return to the breath. You return to the body. You return to compassion. You return to the present moment. You return again and again, because the mind will wander again and again. This returning is not failure. This returning is the path. When the mind says, I cannot be peaceful until everything is solved, return to the breath. When the mind says, my life is not good enough yet, return to gratitude. When the mind says, something bad might happen, return to this moment. When the mind says, I should be somewhere else by now, return to your own path. When the mind says, I am not enough, return to compassion. Every return weakens the habit of suffering. Every return strengthens the habit of awareness. Slowly, peace becomes less dependent on outside conditions. You still feel emotions, you still face problems, you still have human pain. But you are no longer thrown completely away from yourself every time life changes. A peaceful person is not someone who never suffers. A peaceful person is someone who has learned how to suffer with awareness, instead of being destroyed by it. They know sadness will pass. They know anger will pass. They know fear will pass. They know joy will pass too, so they appreciate it while it is here. This understanding makes the heart humble and awake. When you stop postponing peace, ordinary moments become meaningful again. You no longer need something huge to happen before you feel grateful. You can find peace in warm sunlight, in a slow breath, in a quiet room, in a simple meal, in a kind word, in a peaceful walk, in the feeling of surviving a difficult day. These things may seem small, but they are the foundation of a life that is truly lived. A person who waits for perfect happiness often misses simple happiness. They miss the tea because they are thinking about the future. They miss the smile because they are thinking about the problem. They miss the sky because they are looking at the phone. They miss the love because they are focused on what is missing. They miss life because they are waiting for a different life. Do not let that happen to you. Do not let your mind convince you that today is worthless because it is not perfect. Today may be imperfect, but it is still alive. Today may contain difficulty, but it may also contain one moment of beauty. And if you can notice that beauty, you have already begun to awaken. Peace begins when you stop arguing with the fact that life is imperfect. Every life has uncertainty. Every person carries something. Every heart has known pain. Every path has storms. If you think you are the only one struggling, you will feel isolated. But when you understand that suffering is part of human life, compassion grows. You become softer with yourself and others. This compassion matters. Many people postpone peace because they are too harsh with themselves. They think they must become perfect before they deserve rest. They criticize every mistake. They judge every emotion. They attack themselves for not being stronger, faster, calmer, wiser, or more successful. But self-attack does not create peace. It creates more suffering. Buddhism teaches loving kindness. Begin with yourself. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you truly love. When you are tired, do not call yourself weak. When you are struggling, do not call yourself a failure. When you make a mistake, do not call yourself hopeless. Say, I am learning, I am human, I can begin again. I can meet this moment with patience. This gentle inner voice is not laziness, it is wisdom. A mind that is constantly attacked becomes afraid. A heart that is constantly criticized becomes closed. But a mind treated with compassion becomes clearer. A heart treated with kindness becomes stronger. You do not grow by hating yourself. You grow by seeing clearly and responding wisely. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be peaceful. Do not wait for the world to become kind before you become kind to yourself. Do not wait for everyone to understand you before you stop punishing your own heart. Do not wait for life to become easy before you breathe deeply. Peace is something you can begin practicing now, in small ways, in this exact season. Maybe today you cannot fix everything, but you can sit quietly for 1 minute. You can take one mindful breath. You can stop one negative thought from becoming a whole story. You can choose not to answer anger with anger. You can appreciate one simple blessing. You can forgive yourself for one old mistake. You can release one expectation. You can protect one small piece of your peace. These small practices matter because life is made of small moments. People often search for one huge transformation, but real peace is built through repeated small returns. One breath at a time, one thought at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. This is how the path is walked. At the end of life, you may not regret that everything was imperfect. Life was always going to be imperfect. You may regret that you waited too long to be peaceful inside it. You may regret that you postponed joy for years because you thought life had to look a certain way first. You may regret that you ignored simple beauty because your mind was always waiting for more. Do not wait until your final days to realize that peace was available in small moments all along. It was available in the breath. It was available in gratitude. It was available in letting go. It was available in forgiving. It was available in slowing down. It was available in choosing not to carry what was not yours. It was available in returning to the present. Life is too short to keep saying, "I will be peaceful later." Later is not guaranteed. The only moment you can practice peace is now, not when everything changes, not when everyone understands, not when every desire is fulfilled. Now. This moment may not be perfect, but it is real. This breath may not solve everything, but it can bring you back to yourself. This day may not be easy, but it can still be lived with awareness. This life may not be exactly what you imagined, but it is still your sacred opportunity to awaken. So stop postponing your peace. Stop placing your happiness in a future that may never arrive exactly as you expect. Stop believing that life must become flawless before your heart can rest. Begin here. Begin now. Begin with what you have. Begin with the breath. Begin with awareness. Because the person who learns to be peaceful in an imperfect life has discovered something far greater than comfort. They have discovered freedom, and that freedom is one of the deepest gifts Buddhism offers to anyone willing to wake up before life passes away. 13. Stop living in a past you cannot change. Many people waste their life not because the present is empty, but because their mind is still trapped in a past that has already gone. Their body wakes up today, but their heart is still living inside yesterday. They carry old conversations, old wounds, old mistakes, old betrayals, old regrets, and old versions of themselves as if they are still happening right now. This is one of the deepest ways suffering continues. The event may have ended long ago, but the mind keeps replaying it. The person may have left, but the memory still enters every quiet moment. The mistake may be years old, but the shame still speaks as if it happened this morning. The pain may belong to the past, but the suffering is renewed every time the mind returns to it without awareness. Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent. Every moment appears, changes, and disappears. Nothing stays exactly the same. But the human mind often tries to hold what has already passed. It clings to what hurt it. It clings to what it lost. It clings to what it wishes had happened differently. And because of this clinging, the past becomes a prison. The past cannot be changed by thinking about it again and again. No amount of regret can rewrite what happened. No amount of anger can undo betrayal. No amount of self-blame can return a lost moment. No amount of replaying can create a different ending. When you understand this deeply, you begin to see that living in the past is not loyalty to what happened. It is the slow sacrifice of the life you still have. This does not mean your pain was not real. It does not mean you should pretend nothing happened. It does not mean you must forget everything quickly. Buddhism does not teach denial. It teaches clear seeing. To see clearly means you acknowledge what happened. You learn from it. You feel what needs to be felt. But you do not build your entire identity around a wound. Many people unconsciously turn their pain into their identity. They stop saying, "Something hurt me," and begin believing, "I am broken." They stop saying, "I made a mistake," and begin believing, "I am a failure." They stop saying, "Someone left," and begin believing, "I am not worthy of love." This is how the past continues to control the present, not only through memory, but through the meaning the mind gives to memory. A painful event is one thing. The story you keep telling yourself about it is another. The event may have happened once, but the story can hurt you 1,000 times. If the story says, "I will never be happy again," suffering grows. If the story says, "I cannot trust life anymore," fear grows. If the story says, "I am not enough," shame grows. But awareness allows you to question the story. You can say, "Happened, but it is not the whole of me." You can say, "This hurt me, but it does not have to define my entire life." You can say, "I made a mistake, but I can learn and live differently." You can say, "I lost something, but I am still alive, still breathing, still capable of peace." This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is the moment you stop allowing the past to use your mind as a place to live. Many people believe that if they let go of the past, they are saying it did not matter. But letting go does not mean the past was meaningless. Letting go means you have taken the lesson, without agreeing to carry the suffering forever. It means you honor what happened by becoming wiser, not by staying wounded. It means you refuse to let one chapter become the whole book. There are people who spend their entire life waiting for the past to apologize. They wait for someone to understand how deeply they were hurt. They wait for someone to admit they were wrong. They wait for life to become fair. They wait for an explanation that may never come. And while they wait, their present life slowly passes by. Buddhism teaches that freedom cannot depend on someone else's awakening. If your peace depends on another person finally understanding your pain, you may remain trapped for years. Some people will never understand. Some people will never apologize. Some people will never become who you needed them to be. This is painful, but accepting it can open the door to freedom. Acceptance does not mean what happened was okay. Acceptance means you stop arguing with the fact that it happened. You saying, "This should not have happened," as if that thought can reverse time. Instead you say, "This happened, and now I must choose how to live from here." This choice is powerful. It returns your life to your hands. The past may explain why you hurt, but it does not have to decide who you become. Your wounds may show where you have suffered, but they do not have to be the map of your entire future. You are allowed to grow beyond what happened to you. You are allowed to become peaceful after pain. You are allowed to become soft again after being hurt. You are allowed to live a life that is not controlled by old memories. Sometimes people hold on to the past because it gives them a sense of certainty. Even painful memories can feel familiar. The mind says, "At least I know this pain. At least I know this story. At least I know who I am inside this suffering." But familiar suffering is still suffering. A cage does not become freedom because you have lived inside it for a long time. To leave the past, you may have to face the fear of becoming someone new. You may have to ask, who am I without this pain? Who am I if I stop blaming myself? Who am I if I no longer carry this anger? Who am I if I allow myself to be happy again? These questions can feel strange because healing changes your identity. But this change is not a loss, it is a return. You are not returning to who you were before the pain. You are returning to a deeper version of yourself. A wiser version, a more awake version. A version that knows suffering but is not owned by it. A version that has been through darkness but still chooses light. A version that understands impermanence and no longer clings to what cannot be changed. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only place where transformation happens. You cannot heal yesterday inside yesterday. You can only heal now. You cannot make a new choice last year. You can only make a new choice now. You cannot breathe in the past. You can only breathe now. This is why returning to the present is so important. When old memories appear, do not fight them with hatred. Fighting the mind often makes it louder. Instead, observe them. Notice a memory is here. Notice pain is here. Notice regret is here. Then breathe. Let the memory be seen without letting it become your whole world. Let the feeling move through you without building a home for it. This practice is not easy at first. The mind has habits. If it has returned to the past for years, it will not become free in one day. But each time you notice and return, you weaken the chain. Each mindful breath becomes a small act of liberation. Each moment of awareness says, "I am not the memory. I am the one who sees the memory." This is a powerful difference. If you believe you are your past, you remain trapped. But if you see that the past is something appearing in awareness, then space begins to open. You are larger than what happened. You are wider than one wound. You are not only the pain that visits your mind, you are the awareness that can hold it and let it pass. Many people waste life by living in regret. Regret says, "I should have chosen differently. I should have known better. I should have walked away sooner. I should have spoken up. I should have stayed quiet. I should have been stronger." Sometimes regret carries a lesson, but after the lesson is learned, regret becomes a burden. If you made a mistake, learn from it. If you hurt someone, apologize if you can. If you failed, understand what failure came to teach you. If you wasted time, use today differently. But do not keep punishing yourself forever. Endless self-punishment is not wisdom. It is another form of attachment to the past. You did what you could with the awareness you had at that time. Maybe it was not enough. Maybe you were confused. Maybe you were afraid. Maybe you were immature. Maybe you were acting from pain. But now you are seeing more clearly. Let that clarity become action, not self-hatred. Buddhism teaches compassion, and compassion must include yourself. If you cannot show compassion to the person you used to be, you will keep fighting your own history. Speak to your past self with gentleness. Say, you did not know then what I know now. You were trying to survive. You made mistakes, but I will not abandon you. I will learn from you, and I will carry us forward with more wisdom. This kind of self-compassion can heal wounds that judgment only deepens. You cannot beat yourself into peace. You cannot shame yourself into awakening. You cannot hate yourself into becoming better. True growth comes from honest seeing joined with compassion. Another way people live in the past is by clinging to old happiness. They do not only cling to pain, they also cling to moments that were beautiful but are no longer here. They keep saying, life was better before. I was happier before. That time was perfect. Those people were everything. And because they keep worshipping yesterday, they cannot receive today. It is natural to miss beautiful moments. It is natural to feel sadness when something precious has passed. But if you keep demanding that life return to what it used to be, you suffer. The river does not flow backward. Seasons do not reverse. People change. Circumstances change. You change. Life continues moving, and peace comes when you learn to move with it. You can honor the past without living there. You can be grateful for what was without refusing what is. You can love a memory without making it your prison. The beautiful moments of your life are not meant to make today feel empty. They are meant to remind you that beauty is possible, and because beauty was possible before, it may appear again in a new form. Sometimes life takes away one form so you can discover another. Sometimes an ending becomes the space where new wisdom enters. Sometimes what you lost teaches you how deeply you can love. Sometimes what changed teaches you not to cling so tightly. Sometimes what passed teaches you to be more present with what remains. The past can become a teacher if you stop making it a home. Visit it for lessons. Do not live there. Take wisdom from it. Do not take chains. Let memory remind you, but do not let memory rule you. If you want to stop wasting your life, you must make peace with the fact that yesterday is gone. Truly gone. Not because it did not matter, but because life is asking you to meet today. Today needs your attention. Today needs your breath. Today needs your kindness. Today needs your courage. Today is the only place where you can love, forgive, heal, build, and awaken. Imagine reaching the end of life and realizing you spent most of it replaying scenes that could not be changed. Imagine realizing that while your mind was trapped in the past, the present offered you countless chances for peace, but you could not see them. Imagine discovering that life kept inviting you forward, but you kept sitting beside a closed door. Do not wait for that regret. Open your hands now. Let the past be what it was. Let it teach you. Let it soften you. Let it humble you. Let it make you wiser. But do not let it steal the rest of your life. You are allowed to begin again, even if you began badly before. You are allowed to change, even if people remember your old self. You are allowed to be happy, even after sadness. You are allowed to trust again with wisdom, not blindness. You are allowed to become peaceful, even if your past was full of storms. Every morning is a quiet invitation. Life says, you are still here. The breath says, begin again. The present moment says, come back. And Buddhism says, do not cling, do not sleepwalk, do not mistake memory for reality. Wake up. Waking up means seeing that the past exists only as memory, thought, feeling, and lesson. It is not physically here. What is here is your breath, your body, your awareness, your choice, your next step, your ability to respond differently, your chance to live with more truth than before. This is how you reclaim your life. Not by erasing the past, but by refusing to be ruled by it. Not by pretending you were never hurt, but by becoming bigger than the hurt. Not by forgetting, but by remembering with wisdom instead of suffering. Let the past make you compassionate. Let it teach you how fragile life is. Let it remind you not to waste time in anger. Let it show you the value of kind words, honest love, mindful choices, and inner peace. Let it become a lamp, not a chain. And when the mind returns to old pain, gently guide it back. Say, that was then. This is now. Say, I have learned, I am learning. Say, I will not lose today to yesterday. Say, my life is still here and I choose to meet it. This simple return may need to happen many times. That is okay. Each return is part of the path. Each return is a small victory. Each return is proof that awareness is growing stronger than habit. Life is too short to keep living in a past you cannot change. Too short to keep reopening old wounds. Too short to keep punishing yourself for mistakes that have already taught you. Too short to keep waiting for someone else to give you closure. Too short to keep missing today because yesterday still has your attention. Your remaining life is precious. Do not hand it over to what is gone. Spend it on healing, spend it on love, spend it on becoming wiser, spend it on being present. Spend it on creating peace inside your own heart. Do not die realizing that your body lived many years, but your mind never left the past. Wake up now, return, release now. The past is a chapter, not the whole story. And as long as you are breathing, the next page is still open. 14. Stop letting fear of change steal your life. Many people waste their life because they are afraid of change. They stay in the same pain, the same habits, the same thinking, the same relationships, and the same old version of themselves, not because they are truly happy there, but because the unknown feels frightening. They choose familiar suffering over unfamiliar freedom. They remain where their soul feels heavy, because at least the heaviness is something they know. But Buddhism teaches that change is not the enemy of life. Change is the nature of life. Everything changes. The body changes, the mind changes, relationships change, seasons change, feelings change, dreams change, and circumstances change. Nothing stays exactly as it is. The more you fight this truth, the more you suffer. Many people want life to improve, but they do not want anything to change. They want peace, but they do not want to release the habits that disturb their peace. They want healing, but they do not want to face what hurts. They want growth, but they do not want discomfort. They want a new life, but they keep clinging to the old identity that created their suffering. This is why fear of change becomes a prison. The door may be open, but the mind says, stay here. At least you know this place. At least you know this pain. At least you know this routine. And slowly years pass. A person becomes older, but not freer. They become more experienced, but not more awake. They keep waiting for life to change while refusing to take the steps that change requires. Buddhism teaches impermanence because understanding impermanence helps us stop clinging. When you understand that everything is changing anyway, you begin to ask a powerful question. If change is unavoidable, why am I using my energy to resist it instead of learning how to move with it wisely? A river does not suffer because it moves. A river suffers only if it tries to become stone. Life is movement. When you try to freeze life, you create pain. When you demand that people, places, feelings, and circumstances remain the same forever, you suffer because you are demanding something life cannot give. This does not mean change is always easy. Sometimes change hurts. Sometimes change comes through loss, disappointment, endings, aging, uncertainty, or painful truth. Sometimes change removes what you thought you could not live without. Sometimes change asks you to become stronger before you feel ready. But even difficult change can become a teacher if you meet it with awareness. Many people suffer twice. First, they suffer because life changes. Then they suffer again because they resist the change. The first pain may be unavoidable. The second pain often comes from clinging. The mind keeps saying, this should not be happening. Things should be like before. I cannot accept this. I cannot move forward. And the more the mind fights reality, the heavier the heart becomes. Acceptance does not mean you like everything that happens. Acceptance means you stop wasting your soul fighting the fact that it happened. It means you stop trying to live in a version of life that no longer exists. It means you take a deep breath and say, this is the moment in front of me. What is the wisest way to meet it? That question can save your life. Because fear asks, why is this happening? Ego asks, how can I control everything? Attachment asks, how can I keep things exactly the same? But wisdom asks, how can I respond with awareness? Change becomes less frightening when you stop seeing it only as loss. Sometimes change is protection. Sometimes change is redirection. Sometimes change is the end of an old suffering. Sometimes change is life removing what your heart was too attached to release. Sometimes change is the beginning of a path you could not imagine while you were clinging to the old one. Think about your own life. There were times when something changed and you thought you would not survive it. Maybe someone left. Maybe a plan failed. Maybe a dream ended. Maybe life moved in a direction you did not expect. At first it may have felt like destruction, but later, perhaps you saw that something inside you became wiser, deeper, stronger, or more awake because of it. Not every change feels like a blessing when it arrives. Some changes feel like storms, but Buddhism teaches us not to judge the whole journey by one difficult moment. A storm may clear the air. An ending may open space. A loss may teach truth. A painful change may become the doorway to a more honest life. Many people waste life by holding on to identities they have outgrown. They keep saying, "This is just who I am." But often, that sentence is not truth. It is fear. They say, "I am an angry person," because they do not want to learn patience. They say, "I am always unlucky," because they do not want to take responsibility for new choices. They say, "I cannot change," because change would require courage, discipline, and self-awareness. But you are not a fixed object. You are a living being. Your thoughts can change. Your habits can change. Your reactions can change. Your understanding can change. Your relationship with pain can change. The person you have been does not have to be the person you remain. Buddhism teaches that there is no permanent, unchanging self. What you call me is always shifting through thoughts, feelings, memories, habits, and awareness. This is not meant to make you feel lost. It is meant to free you. If the self is not fixed, then transformation is possible. You are not trapped forever inside your old anger, old fear, old shame, old weakness, or old story. You can become more patient. You can become more peaceful. You can become more honest. You can become more disciplined. You can become more loving. You can become more awake. But first, you must stop worshipping the old version of yourself simply because it feels familiar. Sometimes the old version of you was created for survival. It protected you when you did not know another way. Maybe you became defensive because you were hurt. Maybe you became silent because your voice was ignored. Maybe you became controlling because life once felt unsafe. Maybe you became cold because love once caused pain. These patterns may have protected you in the past, but they may be imprisoning you now. Thank the old version of yourself for helping you survive, but do not let it stop you from living. Survival is not the same as freedom. You may have needed certain walls before, but now those same walls may be blocking the light. You may have needed certain habits to get through pain, but now those habits may be keeping pain alive. Change requires honesty. You must ask yourself, what part of me is no longer serving my peace? What habit keeps me stuck? What belief makes my life smaller? What fear keeps me repeating the same suffering? What am I refusing to release because I am afraid of who I will become without it? These questions are not easy, but they are sacred. They open the door to transformation. Many people never ask these questions because they prefer distraction. They prefer to blame life, blame people, blame timing, blame the past, or blame bad luck. But blaming alone does not create freedom. Awareness creates freedom. When you become aware, you stop living like a victim of your habits. You begin to see that even small choices can change the direction of your life. One mindful breath can stop one harmful reaction. One honest conversation can change one relationship. One boundary can protect years of peace. One decision to let go can lighten the heart. One new habit practiced daily can become a new identity. Change does not always happen suddenly. Often, true change is quiet. It happens in small moments when no one is watching. You choose silence instead of anger. You choose rest instead of self-destruction. You choose discipline instead of excuses. You choose forgiveness instead of bitterness. You choose presence instead of distraction. You choose truth instead of performance. These small choices may not look powerful at first, but they are how a new life is built. A person does not waste their life all at once. They waste it through repeated unconscious choices. And a person does not awaken all at once. They awaken through repeated conscious choices. Do not be afraid of slow change. Slow change is still change. A seed does not become a tree in one day. The moon does not become full in one moment. Healing does not always happen quickly. Wisdom does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes the most important changes happen so quietly that you only notice them later, when you realize you no longer react the way you used to. There is beauty in becoming. You do not need to be ashamed that you are still growing. You do not need to hate yourself because you are not finished. Life itself is unfinished until the final breath. Every day is an opportunity to practice. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn. Every difficult moment is an opportunity to see yourself more clearly. Fear of change often comes from fear of uncertainty. The mind wants guarantees. It wants to know exactly what will happen, how everything will unfold, whether the choice will be safe, and whether the future will be comfortable. But life rarely gives complete certainty. If you demand certainty before you move, you may remain stuck forever. Buddhism teaches us to become comfortable with uncertainty because uncertainty is part of existence. You do not know everything that will happen tomorrow. You do not know how people will change. You do not know which doors will open. You do not know which plans will fail. But you can know your intention. You can know your values. You can know the next wise step. You do not need to see the whole path to take one mindful step. Sometimes life reveals the path through movement. Clarity often comes after you begin, not before. If you wait until fear disappears completely, you may never begin. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving with awareness while fear is present. Many people die with dreams still inside them because they waited to feel ready. They waited for confidence. They waited for perfect timing. They waited for everyone to support them. They waited for fear to vanish. But readiness is often created by action. The more you practice, the more you grow. The more you step forward, the more strength appears. Do not let fear convince you that staying stuck is safe. Sometimes the familiar place is the most dangerous place because it slowly kills your spirit. A life without change may look stable, but if it is built on fear, it becomes a quiet prison. You may not feel the pain all at once, but over time, regret begins to grow. Regret often sounds like this: I wish I had tried. I wish I had changed earlier. I wish I had walked away. I wish I had spoken the truth. I wish I had stopped living in fear. I wish I had trusted my path. Do not wait until the end of life to hear these words inside your heart. If something in your life is asking for change, listen carefully. Maybe your body is asking you to change your habits. Maybe your mind is asking you to slow down. Maybe your heart is asking you to stop pretending. Maybe your soul is asking you to let go. Maybe life is asking you to stop wasting your energy on things that no longer belong to you. You do not need to change everything overnight. Begin with one honest step. Clean one corner of your life. Release one old thought. Stop one harmful habit. Create one boundary. Speak one truth. Practice one moment of mindfulness. Return to one breath. This is how transformation begins. When fear appears, do not hate it. Fear is not always your enemy. Sometimes fear is simply the mind trying to protect you from the unknown. Thank it, but do not let it drive your life. Say, I see you, fear. I understand you are trying to keep me safe, but I will not let you keep me asleep. This is a compassionate way to meet fear. You do not need to fight fear with violence. You can meet it with awareness. You can feel fear and still choose wisdom. You can tremble and still take the next step. You can be uncertain and still move toward truth. The path of awakening is a path of change. You cannot become awake and remain exactly the same. Awareness will change how you speak. It will change what you tolerate. It will change what you desire. It will change how you spend your time. It will change who you give access to your peace. It will change the way you see suffering, love, success, and death. Some people may not understand your change. They may prefer the old version of you because that version was easier for them to control, predict, or use. They may say, "You have changed," as if change is a crime. But sometimes change is the modest thing you can do. Sometimes changing means you are finally listening to your own soul. Do not shrink back into your old self just to make others comfortable. If your change is rooted in wisdom, kindness, truth, and peace, keep walking. You are not here to remain small so others can feel safe around your familiar suffering. You are here to awaken. Of course, change must be guided by wisdom, not impulse. Not every urge is truth. Not every desire is guidance. Not every emotional reaction should become a decision. This is why mindfulness matters. Sit with yourself. Breathe, observe. Ask whether the change comes from awareness or from escape. Ask whether it brings peace or only temporary excitement. Ask whether it aligns with your values or only feeds your ego. Wise change is different from restless change. Restless change runs away from discomfort without learning from it. Wise change faces reality and chooses growth. Restless change keeps chasing something new because the mind is never satisfied. Wise change releases what is harmful and moves toward what is true. When change is wise, it may still be uncomfortable, but it brings a deeper calm. Your heart may feel afraid, but somewhere inside, it knows the direction is honest. The body may feel nervous, but the soul feels lighter. This is how you know you are not just escaping. You are evolving. Life is too short to stay the same out of fear, too short to repeat the same suffering every year, too short to keep saying, "This is just how life is." Too short to bury your dreams because change feels uncertain. Too short to hold on to pain because healing feels unfamiliar. Too short to die as someone who never allowed themselves to grow. Remember, everything you love is changing. Everything you fear is changing. Everything you are attached to is changing. Your pain is changing. Your mind is changing. Your body is changing. The world is changing. You cannot stop change, but you can learn to meet it with grace. When you meet change with awareness, you become flexible. When you become flexible, life cannot break you as easily. A stiff branch snaps in the storm, but a flexible branch bends and survives. In the same way, the mind that clings to one fixed idea of life suffers deeply when life shifts. But the mind that understands impermanence can adapt, learn, and continue. This is not weakness, this is strength. The ability to adapt without losing your center is one of the deepest forms of strength. You may not control the storm, but you can learn how to breathe through it. You may not control every ending, but you can learn how to begin again. You may not control change, but you can choose whether it makes you bitter or wiser. Let change make you wiser. Let it teach you humility. Let it teach you patience. Let it teach you non-attachment. Let it teach you that nothing should be taken for granted. Let it teach you to love deeply while things are here, and to release with grace when life asks you to let go. Do not die realizing you spent your life resisting the very thing that could have awakened you. Do not die realizing you stayed in old suffering because new freedom felt scary. Do not die realizing you were more loyal to fear than to your own peace. If life is asking you to change, listen. If your heart is asking for honesty, listen. If your suffering is showing you that the old way no longer works, listen. The pain of staying the same may eventually become greater than the fear of changing. But you do not have to wait until life breaks you. You can begin now, gently, consciously, courageously. Take one breath. Let it remind you that life is movement. The breath comes in, the breath goes out. It does not cling. It teaches you the rhythm of existence. Receive, release, arrive, depart, begin, end, hold, let go, live like the breath. Do not cling so tightly to what must change. Do not fear every ending. Do not resist every new beginning. Let life move through you with awareness. Let your heart learn the art of releasing and receiving. You are not here to remain frozen. You are here to awaken. You are here to grow. You are here to learn how to meet impermanence without losing your peace. You are here to become someone who can stand in the changing nature of life and still choose wisdom, kindness, and presence. So stop letting fear of change steal your life. Change will come whether you welcome it or resist it. But when you meet change with awareness, it can become a doorway to healing, a doorway to freedom, a doorway to a more honest life, a doorway to the version of you that is waiting beyond fear. Walk through that doorway while you still have time. One day, whether we are ready or not, life will ask us a final question. Not how much money we made, not how many followers we had, not how many arguments we won, not how many people admired us. The question will be much simpler and much deeper. Did you truly live? Did you spend your precious years awake? Or did you spend them distracted? Did you love while you had the chance? Did you appreciate the people who mattered before time took them away? Did you protect your peace? Or did you give it away to every worry, every opinion, and every fear? Did you spend your life chasing things that never satisfied you? Or did you learn how to find contentment within yourself? Buddhism teaches that life is impermanent. Every breath you take is proof that time is moving. Every sunrise is one sunrise fewer than you will ever have. Every conversation, every meal, every walk, every quiet moment is passing and will never return in exactly the same way again. This is not meant to make you afraid. It is meant to wake you up, because the greatest tragedy is not death itself. The greatest tragedy is reaching the end of life and realizing you never truly lived while you had the chance. Many people spend their entire lives waiting for more money, waiting for the perfect relationship, waiting for confidence, waiting for happiness, waiting for life to finally begin. But life was never waiting in the future. Life was always here. Life was in the ordinary moments. Life was in the quiet mornings. Life was in the laughter you almost ignored. Life was in the people sitting beside you. Life was in the breath moving through your body right now. And perhaps the deepest lesson of all is this: you do not need a perfect life to live a meaningful life. You do not need to have everything figured out before you can feel peace. You do not need to become someone else before you are worthy of happiness. You do not need to wait until tomorrow to start living today. You only need awareness. Awareness of what truly matters. Awareness of how precious your time is. Awareness of how quickly life passes. Awareness of how much suffering comes from clinging to things that cannot last. When you become aware, everything begins to change. You stop wasting energy on things that do not matter. You stop carrying burdens that are not yours. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's. You stop living in the past. You stop fearing every change. You stop postponing peace. And slowly you begin to live. Not perfectly, not without pain, not without mistakes, but with wisdom, with gratitude, with presence, with a heart that understands the value of each moment. So before another year passes, before another season disappears, before another opportunity becomes a memory, ask yourself, what am I giving my life to? What am I spending my precious time on? What am I holding that I need to release? What truly matters? Because one day, all the noise will fade, the stress will fade, the possessions will fade, the titles will fade, the opinions will fade. Everything that seemed so important will eventually disappear. But the way you lived will remain in your heart. The love you gave, the peace you created, the kindness you shared, the awareness you cultivated, the courage you showed, the truth you lived. These are the things that matter. These are the things worth giving your life to. So do not die realizing you wasted your life. Wake up now. Love now. Forgive now. Be present now. Protect your peace now. Choose what truly matters now. Because this moment is your life. This breath is your life. This day is your life. And while you are still breathing, it is not too late to live it wisely.